In the age of ancients, the world was unformed, shrouded by fog. A land of grey crags, arch trees, and everlasting dragons. But then there was fire, and with fire came disparity. Heat and cold, life and death, and of course, light and dark. Then from the dark they came and found the souls of lords within the flame. Nito, the first of the dead. The Witch of Izalith and her daughters of Chaos. Gwyn, the Lord of Sunlight, and his faithful knights. And the furtive pygmy, so easily forgotten. With the strength of lords, they challenged the dragons. Gwyn's mighty bolts peeled apart their stone skins. The witches weaved great firestorms. Nito unleashed a miasma of death and disease. And Seath the Scaleless betrayed his own, and the dragons were no more. Thus began the Age of Fire. But soon the flames will fade, and only dark will remain. Even now, there are only embers. And man sees not light, but only endless nights. And amongst the living are seen carriers of the accursed dark side. Yes, indeed. The dark side brands the undead. And in this land, the undead are corralled and led to the north. Where they are locked away to await the end of the world. This is your fate.
Hello everyone, and a very happy Halloween from us here at the Arnolds Play. Thank you for tuning into my video. My name is Sean and I'm going to be playing through Dark Souls for this Halloween season. A little bit about us on the channel. For this Halloween, each of us at the Arnolds Play are going to play one of our own games by ourselves, and hopefully to give you a bit more of a spooky vibe for this season. I'm going to be playing through a dark fantasy style game, which is Dark Souls. JD is going to be playing through his own game, which I won't spoil, and as well will be Leo. Now, hopefully if this isn't your type of video, hopefully you'll be into one of the others, or if this is your type of video, you'll check out one of the others as well. I'm going to be playing. This is a game which I've discovered this year, and I absolutely love it to bits. Dark Souls is, how can I best describe it? The best way I can describe it is that it's a lot like the original Legend of Zelda back in 1986 or 7. The original Legend of Zelda game, for those who played a Legend of Zelda game, Legend of Zelda games have in today's day and age have a lot of structure to them, but the original Legend of Zelda was very much about discovery and about finding things on your own for yourself. Sure, you had the overall plot, you had to save the princess and get the piece of the Triforce, but beyond that there really wasn't much to tell you where to go and what to do. Dark Souls almost takes this concept and runs with it. The designer, whose name I can't remember, but the designer who works at From Software, they have said that what they did to make this game is, or in general, normally games are made by, you have your characters and your storyline and you build the world around them. Whereas Dark Souls, they focus more on building the world itself and then putting you as your own individual character within it. And it has a very unique effect upon the gameplay. It almost feels like the world around you is continuing on and it's almost alive regardless of what you do or not do. So, we are here at the tutorial stage right now, which is the Undead Asylum. And our mission right now is just to explore and see what's happening. The Undead Asylum is a place for undeads like myself, who are supposed to be locked and kept here awaiting the end of the world. Now, those who are undead in this game have what's called the dark sign. The dark sign is a curse, and what happens is those with the dark sign cannot die. If they die, they go back to what is called a bonfire, or for other enemies in this game, they'll go back to their original places. Those who are cursed, while it might seem attractive that they can't die, there is a big downside to it, and it's that if each time you die, you begin to lose your mind and go hollow. Hollowing is a process where you completely empty your mind and you become a freak of nature that just wanders aimlessly to just scour the earth or scour this area and then just create havoc and chaos. So, that's the basic premise of this game. As a freak of nature should be, we are locked up in the asylum, but we haven't gone completely hollow just yet. Unfortunately, that's why my character kind of looks like this. So let's make some progress onwards. In this big room here, if you look up to the north, you're going to see a lovely chap up there holding a giant demon hammer. He is a guardian of the asylum, and he is not going to let us go through that door on the other side. For the time being, it's best just to run away from him and make your way through the side door here. I've played this game before. I've beaten it on the PC, and although I say I've beaten it before, I honestly feel like it's one of those games where I actually don't feel like I've done I can't say I've done everything in this game. In fact, there's a lot I don't know about this game. What I found very interesting is that once I had played this game and beaten it, I actually went onto YouTube and started watching some other people's videos, and there are some very great YouTube artists such as Vati Vidya, who I'll put a picture up or an annotation on the screen right now, and also Terra Mantis, who does guides for this game, and they've been able to piece together parts of the story and the lore which you won't normally discover by yourself. That is because the game's story isn't really told to you in the form of cutscenes or large open bits of dialogue and narrative. The main way you find out stories is by reading items. So this Esper shield has its own lore. If you have a look at it here, not really much said to it. Let's just talk about how it's decorated, as well as this straight sword hilt. You can find out much more about the game by reading the items and also talking to other characters. But unlike many other games, don't necessarily think you're going to find everything on your own playthrough. So what I'm hoping to do with this game is I'm hoping to play a little bit of it, and if people want more, I want to show people my adventure and how much I discovered by playing this game. Almost as a walkthrough and a bit of a tutorial, but also as just, hey, just a bit of, hey, check out what I found, and hopefully you enjoy it too. So give me just a second when I take out this guy here. Put my mace on. Much better. The first thing we're going to go and encounter here is this person who's lying down in the cell here. That is the same knight from the start of the game who freed us from our own cell. Let's go and talk to him and find out why he did that exactly. Unfortunately the way is blocked, but fortunately for us, there is this lovely gentleman up here who just threw a wrecking ball at us. Thanks, Miley Cyrus. So now the wrecking ball has destroyed this wall, and there it is there. And now we can go and talk to this gentleman here.
Oh, you. You're no hollow. Hmm? Thank goodness. I'm done for, I'm afraid. I'll die soon, then lose my sanity. I wish to ask something of you. You and I were both undead. Hear me out, will you?
Of course.
Regrettably, I have failed in my mission. But perhaps you can keep the torch lit. There is an old saying in my family. Thou who art undead art chosen. And thine exodus from the Undead Asylum maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords. When thou ringeth the bell of awakening, the fate of the undead thou shalt know. Well, now you know. And I can die with hope in my heart. Oh, one more thing. Here, take this. An Estus flask, an undead favorite. Oh, and this. Now I must bid farewell. I would hate to harm you after death. So go now, and thank you.
This very generous gentleman is a very important character.
Now
Hang
I
on.
must bid farewell. I would hate to harm and
He's a very important character. To touch upon a bit more of the lore of this game, those who go hollow are those without a motivation in their life, a reason for living, a reason for going on or continuing on as a human. He is important because he's the one that gives you your motivation. He gives you your quest. He is the owl from Ocarina of Time talking to you and saying, "Oh, hoo-hoo, you must go and find Princess Zelda," or "Hoo-hoo, you must go and get the pieces of the Triforce," whatever it may be. The fact of the matter is that he has given you your mission, and whether you choose to succeed it or follow it is up to you. But by doing so, he has given you some motivation, and thus you will not go hollow. So, with his mission fulfilled, he's now going to take a break here, and he's going to rest up. So, we'll see you later, buddy. Did you hear that? And he's gone. He has just taken his own life or died from whatever injury he may have had or not had. And as such, I'm assuming that he maybe fell from the ceiling over there. That's what I'm going to assume happened to him. So, as such, from his own injury, he is an undead and he will come back to life at some point. However, he may not come back to life as friendly as he was before. Because, like I said before, each time you die, you get a little bit more and more hollow. It's a very interesting take on the old zombie movie kind of culture, where a person dies and comes back as a zombie. Whereas in this story, it's more you die and you lose your sanity, and that's what kind of leads you to kind of becoming a zombie, as opposed to just having a disease or being infected. there. When you start playing this game, it's really important to learn your enemy's moves. It's quite like a fighting game where if you know what your enemy can and cannot do at certain points in time, you'll perform a lot better. So you really want to take the time to learn how to use your character and how to perform your moves. Depending on what you choose for your character and what weapons you use, your character changes dramatically. In fact, each weapon you have has its own moveset, kind of like you're picking its own character in Street Fighter. So, now that I've taken care of these riffraff, I'm going to go through this big fog door. If you've been following the geography correctly, you should be able to work out that we are now above the large room where that demon jumped down from. So now we're going to have to take him out. There he is. Falling attacks are very effective against enemies, so use them whenever you can. Very simple strategy for beating this guy is to circle strafe around him and just really hit him in the butt. Done. See? Not so tough after all, are you? So now that he's taken care of, we can now leave the asylum and make our way onwards. Consoles. In the past we've only been recording on my PC, but now we can record games on video game consoles. And as such, before I just walk on ahead, as such, it's been taking some time for me to get used to using this new piece of hardware. In fact, I've actually had to record this video many times over. So there may be a couple of strange cuts here and there, just so that I can check that the audio is okay and that I'm producing a good quality video for you guys. Anywho, enough. We walk onwards and we're going to progress to the next cutscene.
Only in the ancient legends it is stated that one day an undead shall be chosen. To leave the Undead Asylum in pilgrimage to the land of the ancient lords. Lordran.